Hello everyone, my name is Whale Lord, and this is the first in a series of videos about my ideas to quell the effects of the coronavirus across the United States. The first video is going to be covering the potential storage or alternate hospitalizations of victims of this coronavirus, as well as the optimization of such systems. That being said, we are likely to see a significant rise in hospitalizations in the next coming weeks and months. We don't have enough hospital beds. No one has enough hospital beds for this. This overwhelms every healthcare system, including those in some of the strongest healthcare nations in South Korea, Italy, Spain, France, Germany. This isn't looking particularly well for the United States. So I had an idea. Well, we are going to be utilizing a number of different alternative solutions for hospitals, like gymnasiums, hotels, and work in possibly even college dorms. I thought to myself, with gymnasiums, there's a lot of space there, and a lot of space that I know isn't being properly utilized. Particularly every time that I see a gymnasium being utilized for space with individuals, I always notice that they don't utilize the height. And that's obvious. You can't make, bunk bed. You can't just have bunk beds upon bunk beds and utilize the height that way. So then I thought, what is something that's popular in every state that's easy to construct, easy to find, cheap, reliable, structurally sound, and something that everyone can use? Scaffolding. Scaffolding's present in every state. It's present in every state because every state has construction. And given that every state has construction, we know that scaffolding and those who can put it up exists in plenty. Now, I'm not exactly sure how plentiful scaffolding is, but I do know a few other things about it. First, every scaffolding is 5 by 7 feet. Each scaffolding unit can be assembled in a short amount of time. So, what about putting something into the scaffolding for storing individuals? That's what I came across: mattresses. Now, up to a full XL mattress will fit inside scaffolding. I would personally use the Twin XL just because it gives a little room on either side, but you can use any of these shown here. That being said, how do you properly utilize the entirety of a high school gymnasium, let's say, in the United States, to allow for the maximum number of occupants on scaffolding? Well, let's take a look here. This is a rough layout of what I have seen to be gymnasiums for high schools all across the United States. These are often 50 feet wide by 84 feet long. I took a look at this and thought, okay, so we know that there are doors and there are likely bleachers and other things on either side. What if we took 5 feet off of either side just to be safe? That's alright, we still have enough room. We have 74 feet by 40 feet on the inside. Alright, next, let's see what the rows can do. Every P row is where people would be cared for. Every U row is a utility row, and the E's are elevators, as you can see with the legend here. If we take 5 rows and utilize them for people, and we take 3 rows and utilize them for utilities, we can maximize the number of people fitting into each and every one of these gymnasiums. For each and every one of these gymnasiums, we can see we can fit on maximum 200 people. 50 people per level, 4 levels, as per 24 feet, gives us 200 people. Now, the height of the scaffolding, remember, is 5, and we can have and the height of a gymnasium is usually 24 feet, so subtracting 4 feet from that we get 20 feet. 4 levels. Now, in New York, as an example, there are 2,053 high schools. Multiplying 200 by 2,053 at the very maximum gives us 410,600 individual units for storing of individual people. That also requires mattresses, pillows, blankets, sheets, changes of sheets, laundry for this stuff. I mean, the logistics are the next problem over, but at least there's this for the maximum number that we could potentially have. In the United States, there are 24,000 different high schools, and each of them likely has a gymnasium, so we can assume, given that there are 24,000 high schools, and 200, at least from this layout, and there are 200 people that can be stored in each, at maximum, we have 4,800,000 people stored. That's way more than we would have if we just did one. That's 4 times more. So, what about the logistics of this? Well, we know that each and every one of these is going to require 320 units of scaffolding. For an individual, that doesn't seem too bad, except that when you see this for New York at the very least, that's 656,960 units of scaffolding at maximum, with 1,970,880 units of flooring, and 410,600 units of mattresses, sheets, blankets, and pillows each. So, logistically, it seems feasible at least. I mean, if we use as much as we can, we're still utilizing more than we would if we just didn't. Per unit, we are going to need, I assume, 785 cubic feet of a fence material in order to prevent people from simply falling off the edge. There is also the potential to add an additional layer on top, but I'm not counting that as a definite guarantee. We could. We might be able to. We'll have to look into it, but I'm not going to hold it as a guarantee. I'm just doing this right now to prove this point. If we were to grab 3 scaffolding elevators per unit, we would be able to transport individuals up to the utility line and then transfer them to and from the beds. The elevators would also be utilized for things like transferring equipment and personnel. I wouldn't trust anything less than a scaffolding elevator, or maybe we could even utilize things like scissor lifts. We might even be able to utilize scissor lifts for this. This is not an ICU, mind you. This is not an ICU, so this is something that can be utilized. The ICU would likely be the entirety of the hospital by this point. I imagine that this is going to be the first place they go to, and then after, if they get worse from here, they can go off to the hospital and be treated there. So anyway, this is my idea for a potential solution to the whole coronavirus storing of individuals problem. If you really want to help me, and you believe that this idea is a good idea, share it with someone. Facebook, Twitter. I think this is going to save a lot of lives, because this allows us to keep individuals in one place and keep them well taken care of and cared for. And if you believe that this is going to save a lot of lives just like I do, feel free to share it. This is Wailord, signing off.